You already know. Okay, so it's time for us to talk. Our late night little chat. Okay, I got my light ring, so just bear with me as I put this on the camera. There we go. Okay, so yes, guys. I want to talk tonight. Where's my clock? Let's see what time it is. It's 11:51. I have a family member coming over here at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So guess what, guys? I'm not going to be able to go to sleep because when I go to sleep, I go into a deep sleep and I sleep until late. So getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, being dressed by 8 is kind of rough. So if I ever have to get up at that time of the morning, I have to just stay up. So you guys, if you are the late night watchers, I'm going to be doing direct uploads off and on all night long. So I'm going to be cranking out some topics and we just going to have a good time talking on the direct upload. So I'm going to try to do 2 little direct, but I know my phone is going to die and I'm going to need to recharge it. I'm going to need to recharge my ring light. So I'm probably only going to do about 2 or 3 direct uploads tonight and then just chill and listen to some music, watch some videos, and then get up. I haven't even taken my bath yet, so I'm gonna do that later, and then we're gonna have a fun night tonight. Okay. So, I just swallowed some smoke. Hold on. Okay, guys. So what I want to talk about is some disturbing shit that I saw on CNN about 3 nights ago. And no, it's not about Anderson. It's not about Anderson. It's not about Anderson Cooper, Mr. AC360. It's not. It's about some shit that was going on in Portland, Oregon. It was a bunch of white folk protesting and saying that they wanted equality. Well, the military was there and they sprayed these white people down with tear gas. And they sprayed them down and they blew their heads. They bust them in the face with rubber bullets. A lot of white people was injured from these protests. Apparently, they were marching for Black Lives Matter. What the fuck does Black Lives Matter to your white ass? Why are you out there risking your life for some nigger boys that will rob you and kill you and beat you the fuck down just because you're white? I don't understand. That's none of your goddamn business. Black Lives Matter is none of your business, you white folk in Portland, Oregon. I'm a person of color, and I'm not going to ever go out and march or protest for no motherfucking nigger boys. I'm not. And if you're new to my channel and you don't know why, go back and look at some of my videos. Black men do not love women of color. They do not take care of women of color, black women, or multiracial or biracial women. They don't take care of their kids. They don't support their families. There's no way in the fucking hell. And no, I do not date black men. The man that I'm with is Caucasian Asian, baby. Okay, so anyway, let me talk to you guys about my childhood. This is going to be a video for white people. So I'm going to tell you that, dear white people, mind your fucking business, or something to that effect. I don't know how I'm going to word it, but let me write it down. Dear white people, mind your own fucking business. Hold on. Dear white people, mind your fucking own business. Yes. That's the title for this video. Okay, so let me tell you something about white people. White people white people that have never lived around black people, they have no idea what a black person is like, or what they're capable of, or what type of people they are. Okay. They keep pushing, oh, we're all equal. Put a black man from the ghetto up next to a white businessman. Put a rapper from the hood, an aspiring rapper with 3 or 4 illegitimate little pickaninny kids. Then put him up to Bill Gates, how much money does the black man have being an aspiring rapper? And how much money does Bill Gates have, or Jeff Bezos, or the dead Steve Jobs, or the fucking Mark Zuckerberg? These are all intelligent, technology-based white men. And then you got an aspiring rapper or a baller? They are not equals, baby. They're not. One takes care of their kids, the other doesn't. One has money, the other doesn't. One is good looking, the raggedy nigger is not. I mean, they're not equals. Don't keep saying that they're equals, because they're not. Okay? Those are two different species of men. Two different species. I am a atheist. I am the annoyed atheist. Okay? I believe in evolution. I believe in species. Okay, I'll tell you more. Oh, oh gosh, it's almost midnight and I'm screaming. Let me be quiet. Okay, I'm going to get closer to the camera so you can hear me. Okay, so anyway, here's what white people don't know. White people don't know anything about black people except for the things that they see on TV. They are oblivious to the black experience, and they have never, a lot of white people have never even been around black people. I've been to Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is almost completely white. It's almost completely white. Those white people have never even had any contact with black people. So how do you know these people that you're fighting for? Do you know any of these people that you're fighting for? Are you related to any of these people that you're fighting for and getting blasted with tear gas? That's none of your goddamn business. Stay out of it. That's none of your goddamn business. You are risking your life for a species of people that you have no idea what they're like, what they're capable of, what they do, what they think, how they act, how they act around women, how they act around children. Okay. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you about my childhood. The reason why I have to tell you about my childhood is because it's very different from my current adulthood. Okay, currently I live in Florida. I live in a small country town full of dairy farms, citrus farms, and all types of other little farms. It's farmland, strawberry farms, all types of I live in a trailer park, so it's predominantly white. It's 92% white where I live. Okay. We do have black people, but they're small numbers. And it might seem like it's a lot of black people when you see me walking, but it's really not. Those black people are coming from a project development, and they don't have cars, and they ride bikes or walk. Okay, so they are on the other side. They are on the other side of where I live. I live in the trailer parks. When you get towards the trailer parks, it's whites and Hispanics. When you get towards the projects, that's where it's all black. I don't live in the projects, baby. I live in the trailer park area. Am I ashamed to say that? Hell, fuck no. Because if you knew, I live down the street from farms. I live off of an interstate that takes you out of the state of Florida. It's farmland, baby. It's rural farmland. It might not look it, but it is. Most of the area that you don't see when I'm walking is mostly just trees and swamps and forests and lakes and all that type of stuff. Okay, so I live in a predominantly white area. Okay, now, the rest of the city is predominantly white. Okay, now, if you can call this a city, I would call it a town more than a city because it's more like a town. Okay, so anyway, we don't have an airport. We only got a train station and a bus station. And it's pretty much a Caucasian area. Okay, now, when I was growing up, let's talk about when I was growing up. Okay, I grew up in Detroit City. Okay. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. It was an awful world to grow up in as a young child. It was a very awful world. It was hideous. It was one of the most hideous places you could ever imagine. There was abandoned houses. There was dead rats on the because the city was infested with rats. It was dead rats on the streets. The abandoned buildings smelled like dead rats all the time because it was rat infested. It was dirty. It was abandonment. It was broken bottles. It was stolen cars that were all dismantled so that they could hot shopping and it was just an awful war. It looked like a war had went on because they had some riots before I was born, and they had burnt up half of the goddamn city. Half of the city was burnt out. It was burnt out building, abandoned buildings, broken glass. It was just a wreck. It was a disaster boom of a place to live. Okay. So when I was growing up, okay, I went to an all-black school, and let me tell you what these children were doing. The children did not want to learn. I would be sitting there trying to learn. The children did not want to learn at all. They were throwing spitballs at each other. They were doing what they called the capping game, which they were talking about each other, dissing each other. They were gossiping behind people's back. They were fighting out on the schoolyard. They were beating each other up with rocks. They would pick up a rock and bust the other one upside the head. They would, and one day, let me tell you something. See, I was very quiet when I went to school because I was scared of the black folk. I honestly was. I was scared than a motherfucker. I didn't have very many friends, and I was always just very quiet. This is from kindergarten till the time I left. I had like maybe 1 or 2 friends in each class, but I was really so scared that I just kept my mouth shut, and I just didn't talk to nobody hardly, and I just studied, and I just kept quiet. Well, one day, I was about maybe in the 3rd grade. We had a playground, and it was no playground equipment. There was no swings, there was no slides, there was nothing. It was nothing but broken glass and rocks on the ground and gravel. Okay, so one day, I was out there walking. I was in the 3rd grade, so I was very young. Okay, so they were fighting, and next thing I know, a stray brick came and hit me on this side of my head. I fell forward into the concrete, and by me not expecting to get bricked upside my head, I had a smell of concrete in my nose, and I must have went unconscious for a few minutes. Nobody came to check on me. Nobody came to lift me off the ground. Nobody assisted me. Nobody said, "Are you okay?" I just literally got myself off the ground. Until I was like 21 years old, every time I would blow my nose or every time my nose would run, I would smell that concrete. It was like it until I was about 21 or 22 years old that it finally stopped. So that was elementary school. So, and let me tell you how I was talking about how the black boys threw the black girl into the dumpster and that they treated her like she was complete trash. One day, this nigger boy was going around collecting trash we were working on some type of crafts for arts and crafts, and we had to put the crafts, we had excess paper from cutting and pasting some things. So the teachers elected some nigger boy to go around and pick up the trash. Well, he went around with the trash can. People put the trash in. And when he got to me with the trash bin, he said, "Hey, bitch, jump in." I really didn't say anything to him. I just thought that was the rudest thing that anybody had ever said to me. That was very rude. I just looked at him. I just gave him a long look. I didn't say one word. I just looked him dead in his eyes, like questioning, why did you say such a horrible thing to me when you don't even know me? I don't even talk to you. And he just had a look on his face and he started laughing like it was some joke. But he was basically calling me trash. And he said, "Jump in, bitch," or something to that effect. Jump in? That means that you think that I'm total trash if you're telling me to jump into the trash bin. Well, he didn't stop there. He got to another girl, a few tables down. He told her the same thing. Jump in, bitch. He was like that. And this was probably when I was in middle school. That was the worst, most awful thing anybody had ever said to me in my school. So he thought that I was trash. And he also thought another person of color was also trash. And he told her to jump into the trash can too. So obviously I take great offense by those 3 or 4 nigger boys that threw that black girl into the dumpster. It made me think of that boy who told me to jump into the trash can. Unprovoked, unsolicited, just don't even know this person. I knew of him, but let's move on. Okay, so elementary school was a disaster. It was a dump. It was horrible. It was awful. There was always some nigger throwing up. It was always vomit. Like every day after lunch, some nigger boy or some nigger girl would throw up all over the hallway. It was always vomit. The hallway always smelled like vomit. The school lunch was halfway decent. We did have hot lunches at that time. A lot of times I would be hungry because my family didn't have that much money, and I would be happy to eat something. And the food was halfway decent during the hot lunch phase. That was the only thing I had to look forward to during school when I was in elementary school was the hot lunch. Because, like I said, my family didn't have that much food to eat. And I was hungry. And so that was the only thing that brightened up my day was the hot lunch. Okay. So elementary school was hideous. I don't have any good memories from elementary school. It was absolutely grotesquely awful. It was grotesquely awful. It was awful. Awful, awful, awful. Awful, awful, awful. Yeah, nigger kids are bad. Now, to the dear white people, this is a letter to you. If you knew what I knew about black kids that come from the ghetto, with the exception of me that just stayed quiet and tried to learn, most nigger kids in elementary school are at their fucking worst. They're like untrained monkeys that's just running around. Actually, that little monkey baby that I was looking at on the other video, when my daughter was doing her makeup, he's more well trained and better behaved and cuter than the nigger kids that I went to school with. They were awful. Anyway, shit, they were hideous. I don't want my daughter AshLynn KatyRay to go to an all-black school. She is going to start school next year, and there are some elementary schools that have more black children than others. We got like 3 elementary schools in our district, and I'm going to try to find her the whitest school that she can go to in our district. So with the schools being closed, I'm already going to try like this August, I'm going to start doing research, and I'm going to go and sit outside those schools and look at the demographics of the children. And then I'm going to go inside the schools, and I'm going to ask the teachers, can I take a tour of the school? And I'm going to make sure that my daughter AshLynn KatyRay, she is multiracial. I don't want her going to school with a bunch of nigger kids. I honestly don't. I am teaching my daughter that there are differences in humans. And I do tell my daughter to avoid the groid. Please avoid nigger boys. I don't want her dating the nigger boys at all. She has to learn that at a young age. And honestly, she's attracted to little white boys and Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. She already has that established. So my daughter is not going to be fucking around with no little nigger boys and getting her ass kicked because she's multiracial. But honestly, in this city, she's going to have a lot of company because there are so many biracial children in this town. And we always look and we say, she's going to have a lot of company, a lot of company. But she looks very different than these biracials. These biracials look fully black, but they do come from white moms, but they are biracial. But they don't look like what you would expect for mixed race. They just look like a brown skin. They look like brown skinned people with kinky, Scary Spice looking hair. They look like Scary Spicers. If you remember from the Spice Girls, Scary Spice, the dark skinned one with the cute little curly afro. Well, I always thought she was all black, and then I found out Melanie B is her name. We got a army of Melanie B's and male Melanie B's. So if you want to look and see what Melanie B looks like from the Spice Girls, she's biracial, but she looks fully black. That's how the average mixed person looks in this town. So obviously, AshLynn KatyRay does not look like Mel B. So she looks very different. And most of the time when people ask me what her nationality is, it's mostly Puerto Ricans that always ask. They're always like, what is her nationality? What is her nationality? And I just have to tell them. But usually it's Puerto Ricans and sometimes white people. Puerto Ricans are the main people that ask. And then they just proudly say, well, I'm Puerto Rican. I know so many different ones at the gas station. Whenever they see Ash, they're like, where is she from? They don't ask me where I'm from, but they ask, what is her nationality? I say, blah, 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 Russian, Romanian, Chinese. They say, oh, I thought she was Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from San Juan. I'm from Ponce. I'm from there. I'm from there. I'm from Connecticut. I was born in New York. They're like that. Puerto Ricans are like that. But anyway, okay, let's move on to middle school. Okay, when I got to middle school, it was even worse. When I got there, they had something called Freshie Friday. Okay, no, that was high school. Freshie. I think it was middle school and high school. Well, what this Freshie Friday was, like the new students that came in, they would just jump a new student and try to beat the fuck out of them and just try to kill them. Seriously, Freshie Friday was scary. So what I would do, I would run. As soon as the door came open, I would just start running. I would just start fucking running. I would just run because they were talking about Freshie Friday. And if they didn't beat you up, they would just take your pants and pull them down and then run. It was dangerously bad. It was hideously bad. That Freshie Friday was terrible. It was scary. So during that time, during middle school, they had a lot of gangs too. So they were joining gangs during that time. So they went from busting people upside the head with a fucking brick to taking a combination lock and putting a handkerchief in it or a bandana. They would take it and wrap it around their heads, and then they would beat the fuck out of the person with a combination lock. So usually that style of ass whooping was associated with a gang. Also, people were gossiping, and if somebody came up in the cafeteria and they say, I told your ass to keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. As soon as I heard that, when they would say that, I told you to keep my motherfucking name out your mouth, they would beat the fuck out of that person. If they had friends, they would jump that person right in the cafeteria, just start throwing chairs, beating the fuck out of the person. Not only that, during that time, there would be a lot of people gossiping. It was always he said, she said stuff. I made sure that because sometimes people would just come up to me and start gossiping. You know the trick to that? Keep your motherfucking mouth shut. I would keep my mouth shut. I wouldn't say one word. I would just stand there with a blank look on my face, and I would not say a motherfucking thing. And whatever that person told me, that stayed with me because I didn't tell nobody. I stayed out of that he said, she said. I stayed out of I stayed out of the keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. I stayed out of that one. I stayed out of he said, she said. I stayed out of gossip. I stayed out of all of that. And I never got my ass beat. Okay. So then I got into high school. Oh gosh, I don't know if you can hear my back cracking. So then I got into high school. Okay. That's when they were really hypersexual. They would say somebody so and so fucking with so and so's man. They would get a beat down for that. Somebody fucking with so and so's man. He fucked so and so. He fucked your best friend. He did this. This is stuff that I was just hearing. I was not involved in no bullshit like that. Fucking somebody's man. Okay, that was what they were popping off on. Every time I turned around, somebody was fighting over some fucking nigger boy. The nigger boy would have the side chick. He would have the main chick and the side chick. So the side chick would find out who the main chick was, and then they would fight each other. And back then, weaves were just getting started. But it wasn't like, it was just like, remember when people used to wear the mushroom hairstyle? And then they would do, I think the Toni Braxton hairstyle was what was popping back then. And then the salt and pepper hairstyle came out, and it was like the tracks where it's just 3 tracks over the eye, and then all this was shaved off in the back. Well, then I think it was the Toni Braxton hairstyle, the Anita Baker hairstyle, and the TLC hairstyle, T-Boz haircut. And it was mainly like girls just getting short haircuts, like T-Boz, Anita Baker, who else? Somebody else. Oh, Mary J. Blige had came out, and she had a short haircut, Mary J. Blige, and it was all of that. So everybody was trying to get all off into those type of haircuts and shit. And I had my natural hair, so I wasn't really worried about it. I had long hair, so I wasn't really worried about none of that shit. So I never had the short Toni Braxton or the T-Boz or none of that shit. So, or the Anita Baker or nothing like that. So that's what they were wearing. And then LL Cool J came out with Round the Way Girls with the big bamboo earrings. So they were wearing the big bamboo earrings. They would get keloids all over their fucking ears. Okay. So the nigga boys, what they were doing, they were killing each other over Air Jordans and gold chains. So the nigga boys would be out somewhere, and they would be like, this is when niggas were really violent. High school niggas is when they really get violent. Okay, so the nigga boys, they had this term called check it in. So the nigga boys would go up to another nigga boy. They had guns, and they would tell the nigga boy on the street somewhere, check it in. The nigga boy, if he didn't give up his gold chains or his Air Jordans, then they would, and they also were killing each other. Or Triple Fat Goof, Tommy Hilfiger, they were killing each other left and right. It was dead niggas left and right being robbed of their expensive clothing. Okay, so also the nigga boys were impregnating a lot of Shanquanique girls, and the Shanquaniques were having babies at 15, 16, 17 years old, 13 years old sometimes. And it was all types of, and they were welfare chicks because they could get welfare checks in a house or a flat, and they could get money from the government for these babies. So they could move out of their parents' house. And so they were moving into their own houses at, 16, 17, 18 years old because they got government checks. And in Detroit, Michigan, they would give them decent checks and housing and food stamps. So they were just like, they would just have baby after baby after baby after baby because they would just do it so they could get bigger checks. And because every time they had a baby, they would get a higher check and more food stamps. And that's what they were doing. And then after that, it's something else that they were doing that was terrible. Yeah, they were capping on each other. That's what they were doing. They were capping games. Have you ever seen that disgusting show Wild 'N Out with Nick Cannon? And they're dissing each other. That's what nigger kids do to each other. That's what they do to each other. They talk about each other. They diss each other. They fight each other. They beat each other down. They kill each other. They They don't have no love for each other. It's violence every day. It's poverty everywhere. It's just awful. So, dear white people, please understand the people that you're fighting for, you don't want those people in your neighborhood. Honestly, if you're fighting for them to come and live next door to you, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. You don't even know those people. You don't know what they're like. I grew up around niggas and I know exactly what they're like. So, no, hell no. I don't want to live next door to no nigger boys. My neighbor on this side is 2 white boys from Colorado. My neighbors on that side is a white man with his wife. My neighbor there is a white man that just got a house through the same guy that he's renting from here. Then the next house over there is Puerto Ricans. Then the next house over there is a mulatto woman with a white man, and they got 2 kids. And then over there on the last trailer is a white family. My community is just about all white. It's only one mixed race woman. It's a mixed race woman down at the end. So I'm not dealing with that bullshit. I'm not dealing with no fighting. I'm not dealing with no fucking attacks over clothes and jewelry. I'm not dealing with that type of lifestyle, baby. I'm not. And I don't ever want to go back to that type of lifestyle, living next door to some niggers. I don't want my daughter going to school with nigger kids. I don't want that. We have an opportunity to send her to a school every time we drive past it to go to the park. It's only whites and Hispanics. And I'm keeping a close eye on the demographics at that particular school. And I'm thinking that I'm going to send her to that school because it's one school where it's near the projects and is more black students, but I don't want her to go through what I went through. So white people, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you don't know the type of people that you're trying to save. They don't need to be saved, and they need to stay in Detroit. They need to stay in areas of Chicago. They need to stay in raggedy bust down areas of DC and Baltimore. But they don't need to be living next door to you in Portland, Oregon, because Portland, Oregon is a beautiful place. Predominantly white, very functional, very safe. And you don't know what type of fucking nigger you about to let. I guess they're fighting for the niggers to come to Portland and live next door to them. Do you realize if you sent your children to an all-black school, they will not learn anything. They will be scared to death and they'll get their asses kicked, beat up, and killed. Okay? They will just beat the fuck out of people just for fun. You don't know what niggers are like. I know what they're like. So what I'm trying to say, you know what? I have so many life experiences. I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of talking about some motherfucking niggers. This is at the tip of the iceberg. White people, mind your own motherfucking business. You ain't got no motherfucking business protesting no Black Lives Matter. Keep your motherfucking ass out of this business. It's not your motherfucking business, and it's not your goddamn fight. White people, go sit your ass down. Stop going out there getting your ass blown away with tear gas for some goddamn nigger boys that will kill your motherfucking ass, rob you, and rape your daughters. Do not fuck around with the Black Lives Matter white people, because you don't even know what the fuck black people are like. You never went to school with their black ass. You never got beat up and chased down from school by their black ass. You never seen people get beat down with padlocks and bricks. You never saw people get robbed and their chains snatched and their shoes grabbed off their feet while they're dead on the sidewalk. I have even more, but honestly, it's so fucking late. It's 12:25 in the morning. And honestly, I cannot think of all the stuff that I want to say. But all I'm telling you, I guess all I can tell you is just a little bit of that. Just a little bit of that should open your fucking eyes. Stop thinking that we're all equals. I'll have to do another video about how, and I will compare apples with oranges. But I will have to go through the process of evolution to point things out to you. No, we are not equals. And no, I don't want to live in a nigger neighborhood. And no, I don't want to live next door to no motherfucking niggers. And no, I don't want my daughter going to school with no motherfucking niggers. niggers, and you should feel the goddamn same. I'm not saying to have segregation. I'm not saying all that. But I'm just saying, white people that are out there protesting in Portland, Oregon, you don't know what you're fighting for. You don't even know the people that you're fighting for. You don't even understand this fight. You don't even understand the struggles. You don't understand what niggers are like. So whoever it is that wants to fight for the Black Lives Matter, let them do it on their own. Am I going to fight for the Black Lives Matter? Fuck no. Am I going to go get blasted down with tear gas? Fuck no. Am I going to go get shot in the face with a rubber bullet trying to save a nigger boy? Hell no, because I know what they're like. And if they got killed and shot down while they were committing criminal acts, fuck those dead ass niggers. Let them rot in their grave. I don't believe in hell. But anyway, rest in peace, dead nigger. I don't give a fuck. And you should feel the same goddamn way. Stop being so fucking liberal. You don't know the goddamn nigger bug. Fuck those nigger bugs. You don't know what they're like. So stop trying to act like you know what they're like. You act like you know what the fight is for. You act like white people. Mind your own goddamn business. It is not your motherfucking fight. So stay out of it. Stay out of the fight. It's not your fight. Sit peacefully in Portland, Oregon. You ain't got shit to worry about. I've been to Portland, Oregon. It ain't no niggas fucking around up there. Stop trying to fight a war that don't have you involved at all. Let the nigger boys fight. Black women, stay out of the fight. White people, stay out of the fight. Asians, stay out of the fight. Let the nigger boys fight. They're the ones that's getting shot down and killed. So let them go march and fight. This is a fight for the nigger boys to fight. Let them fight it. Go on, nigger boys. Go on the front line and go fight. Go fight. Go protest, nigger boys, because you're the ones that's getting killed. So it's your fight. It's not the black woman's fight. It's not the woman of color's fight. It's not the biracial woman's fight. It's not the multiracial woman's fight. It's the nigger boys' fight. So go let them fight. Let them go fight that war. The Black Lives Matter war. Let them go fight it. Because I'm damn sure not going to fight for them. I'm not. I am not. I'm sitting over here in a 92% Caucasian town, and I don't give a fuck about no Black Lives Matter, and neither should you. Keep your motherfucking ass out of this fight, because it has nothing to do with you. So anyway, guys, I want to do this video before it gets too late, because I want to go into the bathroom and I don't want to be too loud. And then I'm going to film another little video, and you know, I'm gonna keep y'all up tonight if you are the late night watchers. But anyway, that's all for now. And live fiercely. Live fiercely. I said something else. Live fiercely, love viciously, and remember, atheism is unstoppable.